Good morning, everyone. It's Juliana. I have a new project to share with you. As you can see from the cover, it's an altered book that I used. I bought it this summer while I was in Connecticut. The book was published in 1896, so it was a really old book. It's called Wit, Wisdom, and Eloquence, and I thought it would look really great for the theme that I picked, which is, you'll see soon enough, it's a circus theme. I put metal corners on the edges, and they weren't originally gold, but I made them gold because I felt that it went well with a lot of the gold that's featured throughout the book. So on the side, as you can see, they're gold eyelets. I'll bring that in a little closer. And that's because I did the Coptic stitch, and it was the first time I did it. It was a little nerve-wracking and a little challenging, but I enjoyed it just the same. And I think I'm definitely going to do it again because I really love the way that even though the book is bulky because I put journaling cards in, so it has a little bit of the gator mouth. But even though it's bulky like this, it's not so bad. It will sit flat when you write in it. So I really like it. So on the side here, the closure is deep eggplant purple sari ribbon. So let's go inside. Why don't we do that? Okay. So this was a digital download that I got off of Etsy. There's a lot of stitching throughout this entire book. I really love the way stitching looks, and so if I bring this in closer, you might be able to see the stitching. And I used a lot of that Inca gold to go around the journaling cards and certain parts of the book. So this is the first signature. There's 11 signatures in total. So you can see when I turn it towards the light how gold and glimmery it is. And that's because I really went to town with the glitter, mica flakes, and gold leaf. So it's really shimmery. All right, moving right along. Just to let you know, the book measures 5 across, 8 down, and the white pages are a really nice 32-pound paper by HP. It's laser premium 32-pound. It's not really, it doesn't feel heavy, but I did some reading up on it, and it's really great because you can write with your fountain pen and it doesn't bleed through. So here's a little banner that I made that says Circus. It has that little circus embellishment and some gold lame. Because what would a project be without gold lame? So here's something fun I tried. I have all these old vintage matchbooks, if you're wondering what this is, and I turned them into tabs and I sewed them onto the pages. And this is the front of the book, the beginning of the book, and it has the publication date. As you can see, if you can see, it says 1896. So this is the back of the matchbook. So this was in the book as well. I have some gold trim here. I put the hat on the gentleman because I thought that looked very carny-like, very circusy. And then in this first tuck here, let me move the book, I used the spine and I turned it into a bookmark, and I really hope you can see that. So it's really beautiful. And then I backed it with some scrapbook decorative paper. So here's the first side tuck. I used a Martha Stewart punch and some rickrack. And as you can see, there's the Inca gold around the journaling card, and it's sewed on. And everything's been coffee dyed in the book. I mean, there might be one or two things that aren't coffee dyed. So here's a side tuck. And I'm thinking this must be a woman who has a beard. This is a book from a children's book that I got from a pen pal. So thank you for that. And here's a pocket I made with some text, and that's sewn on. Hopefully it's in focus. I can never tell when I look in the viewfinder of the camera. So all the backs have been coffee dyed, and you can journal on them. So pointing finger, book page, another matchbook tab, and here's a little pocket I made, and it's got this cute little vintage dog flashcard, and there's fire on the back. And these are little tickets that I've distressed. They're not vintage. Another matchbook. Let me see if I can get a little closer. Okay. So I left a lot of room for writing because often people really just want that space. So here's a tag that I made. I created these tags out of, these are owl's eyes on text paper, and they were colored, but I turned them into black and white because I thought it looked better for the book. But this is a little nice pocket here. The back of the pocket page with a real vintage bingo card. This is some ledger paper that folds out from 1925. I try to incorporate as much vintage materials, the real things, as possible because I feel like it makes each project unique and special. I know sometimes it's unaffordable. So this is a really cool matchbook. It says radio in every room. I don't know if you can read that. Another pocket, another side tuck with this awesome image of this juggler. Some gold trim. I really went crazy with the gold in this one. This is from Ephemera's Vintage Garden. I had used it in another project, but I just love it so much that I decided to make, there's 3 little tags in here. And they just, so the third one got stuck in there. Come out. Here it is. Okay, so another matchbook tab. And if I didn't mention, there's 11 signatures in all. And the reason I have so many signatures, there's about 3 folios per signature, is because when you do the Coptic stitch, you want to make sure that the gaps between your signatures aren't so large. So originally I had 6 signatures and then realized it was just not going to look as good. So in total there's probably about 135 pages, and I would guess there's at least 115 that you can write on. This is from a children's book that from the 1800s. And I mentioned that. This is a belly band with some vintage trim on it. And this picture of this sweet girl with her dog. And here are 2 very sexy macho men, and you can see how the gold just glimmers when I turn it towards the light. So if you like bling the way I do, you might like that. So this is a glass scene that I cut and I sewed it onto the page. And it's got this cute little, I printed this decorative mustache paper on it. And I don't know if you can make out this picture, but there are dogs in a portrait studio. And I actually own this postcard, but I scanned it instead of using the originals. That's the back of the postcard. Goes back in there. Another matchbook, and it's from, I think, some hotel. Another side tuck with gold trim, and these creepy twins. And if you can tell, I also stitched around all of the images with a gold thread. Not like gold metallic, but just like a deep yellow gold. So here's, I got this idea, the coin envelope from Patricia. I think her last name is Viramontes. So a tag goes up in here and down in here. 2-loader. How about that? Thank you, Patricia. I really enjoy your videos on what you do with book pages. You've added a whole new art form to junk journaling. And thanks to everybody who's always inspiring me on YouTube, because I wouldn't be doing this if you guys weren't there. So thank you. So here's another journaling card, the clown. And inside is another Ephemera's Vintage Garden. This is from Steampunk Voyage. I resized it to make a small book. And inside there's some vellum pages like this one of this cross-dressing couple. The woman is dressed in men's clothes and the man is dressed in women's clothes. So there's little scraps in here. It's a fun way to use up your scraps. Here's a dog on a bicycle. Muscle Man. And some boxers. So, onward. This is from a playbill from the 30s. I scanned this and printed it out. It's just more space to write on. It's just such a lovely ad. I hope you can see that well. The light just changed. Onward. This is an image from a Dick and Jane series that I bought this summer. I love the illustrations. And again, as you can see with the Coptic stitch, I mean, this is coming up, but you can see how nice it lies. So I use this matchbook tab also as a tuck, and these are the acrobats. There's a little piece of gold lame sewn on. What's a book without gold lame? And the doggy on the bike, moving right along. This very macho Victorian woman showing her muscles. Thought that was pretty radical probably for the time. Graph paper, vintage graph paper. Another matchbook tab. Another pocket. And there's text here that I've sewn on. I did mention it. Oh, this is a really cute matchbook if you can see it. It says Chatterbox Room, Tea Room. And here's a contortionist. And then on the back side of this fold over pocket, it's got 2 tucks like the other side, is another one of these owl eye tags. And this is an original photograph of a little girl with her, I'm assuming her brother, at Christmas time, and it has some personal writing inside. And this is just vellum folded over. So here's, you can see that gold when I turn it. This woman on the trapeze. Gold oh, this is notes from my father-in-law's math journal that I kept, and I just sewed it onto the page. This is gold vellum. Some vintage ledger paper. This is a poodle playing card, which I adore. Let's hope that's going in focus. This was one of the original pages, and I loved the pattern so much that I decided to sew it into the book. Here's another fold out, writing for writing. I guess I should show it to you because it's kind of cool. It, if anybody's heard of Jack Dempsey's restaurant in New York City, I mean, I have, and I'm definitely not from that generation, but I thought that was pretty cool. Here's another doggy postcard. They're sitting and having dinner. Pocket. This is a Russian math book with Cyrillic writing for those of you who can read Russian. Another tuck spot with this little girl. And tuck spot with a clown and the clown's friend. I don't know who she is. Another matchbook tab. Tuck spot. And the final signature is a juggler. He looks like a clown juggler. Some music paper. Another matchbook tag. Another writing space from the playbill. And we're about done. And here is this faux leather pocket. And you can fit a bunch of stuff in there. If you don't have enough to write on already, you can put it in there with a gold trim. And that's it, folks. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if it ran a little too long. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to ask. As of now, my Etsy store is still not open, but I am taking orders, and you can contact me either through YouTube or Facebook. Just let me know. And I can't make this exact book, but I can make it really close, but with some of the different materials. For example, I would use a cover that's ornate, but it would be a different one. So if that makes any sense or doesn't make any sense, just let me know. That might be confusing. But I'm making series of the books that I designed. So I hope you're all well. And thanks. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you really want to see more, then subscribe, because I would love that. That would be awesome. It would make my day. All right. Have a great day. Bye.